What would your life look like if fear no longer had a voice? Not silenced for a moment, not managed, tamed, or negotiated with, but erased, gone, dead. Imagine waking up every day without hesitation, without second-guessing yourself, without that internal voice telling you you're not ready, not worthy, not enough. What decisions would you make then? What doors would you finally kick open? What dreams would you chase with reckless, unstoppable fire? Because the truth is, fear isn't the enemy. Surrender is. Fear is natural. It's primal. It whispers and it warns, but it only wins when you obey it. And every time you believe it, every time you shrink instead of step forward, you trade power for comfort. You give up growth for safety. You stall, you suffocate, you stand still, not because you're weak, but because fear has convinced you that stillness is survival. But not today. Today we expose fear for what it is, a liar, a story, a shadow pretending to be real. And today we bury it, not with feel-good fluff or shallow hype, but with truth, with discipline, with practice, with a purpose that's bigger than your excuses. In the next few minutes, you're going to learn how to stop running from fear and start hunting it. You'll learn how to stand tall even when your hands shake, how to act before fear fades, and how to build a mind so sharp and disciplined that fear has no room left to live. So take a deep breath, step forward, and don't look back, because this is the day you kill the fear. Let's get something straight. Fear is not your enemy. Fear is instinct. It's ancient. It's built into your biology to protect you. And in many ways, it's kept you alive. But what fear was never meant to do is lead you. It was never meant to be your guide, your counselor, your decision maker. Yet that's exactly what most people let it become. They let fear steer the wheel. And then they wonder why their life feels like it's going in circles. You feel fear when you're about to do something unfamiliar, something risky, something that threatens your comfort or control. That's not weakness. That's your brain doing what it's been wired to do. But here's the truth most never hear. Fear itself isn't what stops you. Inaction is. The real enemy isn't the fear you feel, it's the pause you take because of it. It's the opportunity you don't chase, the silence you choose instead of speaking up, the dream you shelve for some other time. Most people are waiting for fear to disappear before they take action. They're waiting to feel brave, to feel certain, but that moment never comes. Because courage isn't the absence of fear, it's action taken in spite of it. And if you're waiting to feel ready, you'll be waiting your whole life. The ones who move mountains, change industries, make history, they feel fear too, but they walk forward anyway. That's the shift. That's the edge. You don't need to be fearless. You just need to stop obeying fear like it's a command. You need to stop giving it authority it never earned. Fear can sit in the passenger seat, sure, but it doesn't touch the wheel, not anymore. And here's where it gets powerful. The more you move through fear, the smaller it becomes. Every time you act when you're afraid, you teach your brain that fear doesn't mean stop. It means this matters. It means step up. It means you're getting close to something important. Repetition rewires reality. And the more you face fear head-on, the less control it has over you. You become something fear can't live inside, because you've trained your mind to act before fear can settle in. So the next time fear rises in your chest, remember this: you don't need less fear. You need more movement. Don't analyze. Don't overthink. Don't negotiate. Just move, because fear hates momentum. And the moment you act, the fear begins to die. Fear is a master storyteller. It crafts lies so believable, so emotionally convincing that they feel like truth. But here's the brutal fact. Fear is a liar, and the most dangerous lies it tells are about you. It whispers that you're not ready, that you're not smart enough, talented enough, worthy enough, that if you try, you'll fail, that if you speak, they'll laugh, that if you chase that dream, you'll crash and burn. And because fear wears the voice of your own mind, you believe it. You accept it as reality, never realizing that it's just a story you've repeated so many times it became familiar. Not true, just familiar. Fear thrives in imagination. It takes a moment of uncertainty and builds a movie around it. You don't just worry about a difficult conversation. You see it go horribly wrong. You don't just hesitate to try something new. You see yourself failing publicly and permanently. You don't just fear rejection. You imagine humiliation, abandonment, and proof that you never had what it takes in the first place. And that's how fear wins, not with truth, but with repetition. The more you rehearse the worst-case scenario in your mind, the more your nervous system believes it's real. And when your brain believes the threat is real, it floods your body with signals to retreat. Heart racing, breath shallow, muscles tense. Suddenly, you're not living in the present. You're imprisoned in a future that hasn't even happened. And in that state, even the smallest step forward feels impossible. But here's the breakthrough. If fear is built by repetition, so is confidence. If fear is a story, you can tell a better one. One where you speak and you're heard. One where you leap and you land. One where you fail and rise anyway. Because the truth is, the mind can't tell the difference between imagination and memory. If you can visualize defeat, you can visualize victory. If you can rehearse disaster, you can also rehearse domination. This is the battlefield. Not out there, but in here. And the moment you stop accepting fear's script and start rewriting it, you take back control. You don't have to feel brave to act brave. You don't have to feel certain to move forward. You just have to stop giving fear the mic, because the voice in your head is powerful, but it doesn't always tell the truth. And the biggest lie it tells is that fear is your limit. It's not. It's your signal. It's the flag that says you're standing at the edge of your growth. And what happens next? That's up to you. Fear grows in the dark, in silence, in avoidance. The more you run from it, the bigger it gets. The more you try to outthink it, the louder it becomes. Because fear doesn't shrink with time. It shrinks with exposure. And this is where most people get it wrong. They wait for courage to arrive before they take the leap. They wait for the fear to fade before they take the first step. But courage doesn't come before action. It comes because of action. Imagine standing at the edge of a freezing pool. You can dip your toe in, walk away, come back tomorrow, overthink it again, and still feel cold just looking at it. Or you can jump in, shock your system, let your body adapt, and in a few seconds you're no longer afraid. Why? Because you've experienced what your mind exaggerated. That's exposure. It's not about being fearless. It's about being willing to feel the fear and still step forward, willing to look uncertainty in the eye and say, you're not the end, you're the beginning. This is how you kill fear. Not with avoidance, but with exposure. You lean into what terrifies you. You practice the uncomfortable. You make it familiar. And the more familiar it becomes, the less power it holds over you. Speak even when your voice trembles. Show up even when your hands shake. Launch the idea even if it's imperfect. Ask the question even if you fear the answer. That's the work. That's the training ground. Because repetition rewires reality. The first time is terrifying. The second time is uncomfortable. The 10th time is routine. And the 100th time, it's freedom. The people you admire, the speakers, the leaders, the creators, the fighters, they didn't start brave. They started scared. The only difference is they refused to stay that way. They built tolerance to discomfort. They didn't run from the storm. They stepped into it again and again until the thunder couldn't shake them anymore. The truth is the fear never fully leaves. But you stop flinching when it speaks. You stop shrinking when it rises. Because you've faced it enough times to know it's just a sound. It's just a signal. And it doesn't have the final word. You do. The only way out is through. Through the trembling, through the failure, through the doubt. You walk straight into the storm, not because you're unafraid, but because you know the other side of fear holds the life you haven't lived yet. And that's a price worth paying. If you want to kill fear, you must go to its source, your mind. Because fear doesn't start in the world. It starts in your thoughts, in the silent, invisible stories you repeat to yourself, Stories of inadequacy, of danger, of what might go wrong. Stories that play on a loop, shaping your reality without you even realizing it. And here's the truth. If you don't train your thoughts, they will train you. Left unchecked, the mind becomes a battlefield where fear always wins. But you're not here to be ruled by fear. You're here to reclaim your mind, to take back the pen and write a new script. And it begins with this simple but powerful realization. You are not your thoughts. You are the observer of your thoughts. You are the architect, the programmer, the one who chooses what gets to stay. So when fear whispers, you're not ready, you don't just accept it. You question it. You respond, says who? When it says you'll fail, you reply, maybe. But I'll learn. You flip the script. You disrupt the pattern, because every thought is a seed, and what you water grows. If you water fear, you'll harvest hesitation. But if you water courage, if you flood your mind with powerful, intentional, disciplined thoughts, then boldness becomes your default. This isn't about blind positivity. It's about intentional mental conditioning. The same way athletes train their bodies, warriors train their reflexes, and musicians train their fingers, you must train your mind with affirmations that declare your worth, with visualization that locks your eyes on the outcome, with repetition that makes greatness feel familiar. Tell yourself what you want to believe until it becomes who you are. Speak it, feel it, act on it every day. I am calm under pressure. I face fear and move anyway. I don't shrink, I expand. These aren't just words, they're commands, and your subconscious is always listening. And don't just think these thoughts, live them. Let your actions reflect your new identity. Your mind learns by watching you. So when you do something bold, when you move despite the nerves, when you speak up despite the shaking hands, your brain registers, we do hard things now. That's how identity changes. That's how fear loses control. You're not weak for having fear, but you stay weak if you let it lead. Discipline your inner world, and the outer world will bend to meet it. Guard your thoughts like a vault. Interrupt the lies. Install the truth. And remember that you always have a choice. Fear may visit, but it doesn't get to stay unless you open the door. Train your mind, or be trained by fear. The choice is always yours. What if fear wasn't a stop sign, but a signal? What if the very thing you're avoiding is the thing you're meant to do? You see, most people think fear means don't. Don't go there. Don't try that. Don't speak up. Don't risk it. But in reality, fear is often a compass. It points toward the edge of your comfort zone, and that's exactly where growth begins. That fire you feel in your chest, that trembling in your hands, that's not weakness. That's life, reminding you that you're standing on the edge of something important. That's your spirit recognizing a moment of truth, because the things that scare you the most are usually the things that will grow you the most. Public speaking, launching the business, ending the toxic relationship, stepping into your purpose. These aren't dangers, they're doorways, and the key to unlocking them is action, not perfection, not certainty, just movement. One step forward, straight into the thing that terrifies you. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is the decision to move in its presence. So when fear shows up, don't shrink. Lean in. Lean toward the fire. Let it sharpen you. Let it burn away your excuses. Let it become fuel. That resistance you feel, it means you're getting close to something real, close to your calling, close to your next level. And let me tell you something most people won't. The fear never fully disappears. Not for the brave, not for the successful, not for the legends. The fear is still there, but they've made peace with it. They've learned to walk with it, to keep going, even while shaking. That's what makes them fearless. Not that they feel nothing, but that they refuse to be owned by it. So the next time fear shows up, say, thank you, I see you, but I'm not stopping. And then take that step, make the call, hit publish, say yes, say no, say the thing that scares you. The moment you lean toward the fire, then the fear begins to fade, and what's left is freedom. Here's the truth nobody wants to hear. You will not become fearless by waiting to feel brave. You don't kill fear with feelings. You kill fear with discipline. Motivation comes and goes. It's a spark, quick, loud, exciting, but short-lived. Discipline, on the other hand, is the steady flame. It's the engine behind every fearless life. Because when you train yourself to act, not when you feel like it, but when it needs to be done, you become dangerous. You become untouchable. Courage isn't a lightning bolt. It's a decision. A daily decision to show up, to do the hard things, to lean into the discomfort again and again, even when your mind screams for safety, especially then. This is what the greats understand. They don't wait for confidence. They act, and confidence catches up. They don't wait for the fear to vanish. They do the thing anyway, and fear learns it has no place there. Discipline silences fear because it removes the negotiation. There's no debate, no should I or shouldn't I. It's already been decided. The alarm rings, you rise, the task is hard, you do it anyway. The voice of doubt whispers, you walk forward in spite of it. That's discipline, and that's how the fearless are made. You see, the more you act in the presence of fear, the more you rewire your mind. You condition it to understand fear is not danger, it's data. And data doesn't control you, it informs you. So ask yourself, are you living by feeling or are you living by principle? If fear is still calling the shots, then it's time to shift. Build rituals that strengthen your mind. Surround yourself with reminders of your vision. Keep your commitments to yourself. One small act of courage every single day, and you'll wake up one day wondering why you ever let fear run the show. Discipline makes you consistent, and consistency makes you inevitable. Picture this. You're lying on your deathbed, moments from the end. Around you are not just memories, but the ghosts of every dream you didn't pursue, every risk you never took, every version of you that could have existed. And they look at you with one question. Why did you let fear decide for you? You see, fear doesn't just steal your moments. It steals your legacy. It convinces you to shrink, to play safe, to sit down when you were built to stand tall. But what if you knew the cost? What if you could see the future that fear is quietly robbing you of? Because that's the thing. Most people don't realize they're choosing fear. They think they're choosing comfort, safety, familiarity. But what they're really doing is burying their greatness under excuses. They're trading impact for ease, legacy for security. Let me be clear. No one remembers the man who stayed silent. No one builds statues for the woman who avoided failure. The world is moved by those who were scared and moved anyway, by those who stood up, spoke out, and stepped forward in spite of the trembling in their voice or the knot in their stomach. Fear will always offer you comfort, but legacy demands discomfort. It demands pain, sacrifice, risk. It demands that you decide what matters more, the opinions of others or the opinion you'll have of yourself when your time is up. So ask yourself right now, what will your life say when you're gone? Will it whisper of missed chances and silent regrets? Or will it roar with the sound of someone who chose purpose over paralysis, action over avoidance, courage over comfort? You don't need to know every step. You just need to refuse to let fear have the final word, because your legacy is being written either way, and only one version ends with you free. If fear is a liar, then your routine is the truth teller, because it's not just mindset that slays fear, it's movement. It's not about one big heroic act. It's about the habits that turn courage into your natural state. The fearless aren't born brave. They're forged by discipline. And every day they perform small rituals that suffocate fear before it has a chance to speak. Start here. Each morning, do something uncomfortable. Not huge, not reckless, just something that makes your heart beat a little faster. Cold shower, honest conversation, a hard phone call. Why? Because the nervous system must be trained. And when you teach your body to survive discomfort, fear begins to lose its grip. Second, move. Physically move. Whether it's lifting, running, walking, motion kills stagnation. And stagnation is fear's playground. When you move your body, your brain follows. Confidence builds, clarity returns, energy rises, and fear has no room in a body that's in motion. Third, speak power into your mind. Affirmation isn't corny, it's war. The thoughts you rehearse become the beliefs you carry. Every morning, stand tall and say, I am not afraid. I am not here to shrink. I am here to lead. Say it until you believe it. Then act in a way that makes it true. Fourth, win the first battle. Make your bed. Show up on time. Finish the task you don't want to, because when you start your day with a win, fear loses a piece of its power. And when you stack those wins, you build momentum. And momentum is what makes the impossible feel inevitable. Lastly, reflect. Each night, ask yourself, where did fear whisper today? And where did I push back? This is how you refine. This is how you get sharper. You become unshakable, not by avoiding fear, but by facing it again and again and until it breaks before you do. The fearless life is not an accident. It is crafted with intention, with repetition, with ruthless self-respect. If you want to kill fear, don't wait to feel brave. Train it, build it, practice it, one bold action at a time. Today, we don't just talk about fear, we lay it to rest. Because the truth is, fear dies when you stop feeding it, when you stop bowing to it, when you realize it has no real authority, only the power you've given it. And from this moment on, you take that power back. No more waiting, no more hesitation, no more shrinking to fit the comfort of others or the lies of your past. You were not born to live small. You were not designed to tiptoe through life avoiding danger. You were built to walk through fire and come out forged. So this is the moment. Not tomorrow, not when you feel ready. Now you bury the fear. You silence the doubt. You take the first step, and then another, until you no longer remember what it felt like to be ruled by hesitation. And when fear shows its face again, as it always will, you will smile. Because now you know its game. You've studied it, outlasted it. You've trained your mind and body to walk forward anyway. Fear doesn't get a vote in your future anymore. Only your vision does, only your mission does. So stand up, straighten your spine, and look fear in the face one last time. Say thank you for the lessons, for the growth, for the clarity. And then say goodbye, because you're done letting fear decide who you get to be. This is your time now. You are fearless because you chose to be. But this is only the beginning. In the next chapter, we will go deeper into how to build unshakable confidence, not in theory, but in daily action. You've slain the fear. Now it's time to build the warrior. So subscribe now, because fear may be behind you, but your future, it's just getting started. Your other self, the one who never hesitates, never retreats, is waiting.